Today, I have the great honor to interview one of my favorite writers of all the times, who kindly accepted to receive the Cilento International Poetry Prize for his deep and precious narrative poetical work. And before starting, let me say it is a real pleasure for me to highlight that the Soprintendenza's Director ai Beni Culturali e Paesaggistici di Salerno e Avellino, Raffaella Bonaudo, and the curator of the Cilento Prize, Dottoressa Rosa Maria Vitola, who both with me strongly wanted to give you our prize, send you all their best wishes and congratulations for your amazing work in the field of literature.
Thanks to you and to all of them. And I'm not worth all these good words, and and I'm happy for it, of course. Yeah.
Thanks.
So, and greet everyone you mentioned, please. Yeah.
Thank you. So, dear Jon, welcome, and let's start with our debate around your literature world, your literary world. I would like, although I read about your beginning, to open my interview asking you to kindly let all us know how your brilliant literary journey started. In particular, how and when you discovered the magic power of using yourself, the written word, and what this allowed you since the beginning.
Yeah, when I was quite young, in my early teens, around 12 years old, I started out searching for, I guess, a kind of way to express myself for something. I played the guitar a lot, electric guitar and even a classical guitar. I painted, I was drawing and painting, and I also wrote small lyrics to songs and quite fast, even small poems and quite short stories. And that's how it all began. I never became a good musician. I was not a really bad drawer, or perhaps I had a kind of a little talent for painting and drawing, but it was writing that felt the closest to me. And I remember in the beginning that I simply liked it because in my spare time wrote these small poems and stories. I felt like I found a secure place inside myself where I could reach a kind of peace and relate to the world in the same time, but with the distance of writing. So that's how it all began in a way. What I wrote in this early age, it was really bad, of course. I found some pieces, and I'm ashamed. So, but still, I liked it, and but I didn't like school. I didn't like to go to school. I didn't like to write what I had to write in school. So this was a secret place. This writing was the opposite of the school writing somehow. Yeah, after a couple of years, I stopped playing the guitar completely for various reasons. I even stopped with this painting of mine, but I kept on writing. And when I was 17, 18, something like that, I wrote my first novel. It isn't published, and thanks God for that. I found it. I found the manuscript some years ago, and it wasn't completely bad, but it wasn't good, at least. It was very close to the writing of a Norwegian writer called Tarjei Vesaas. He's the most famous for a book called The Birds. And what I wrote was very close to a novel called The Ice Palace. So, and
Yes.
yeah, but I wrote, and I even wrote, of course, some more poems, etc. I I don't know that this was when I went to what we call the gymnasium. That's the kind of school preparing for studies. Uh, so I grew up in a very small community, and to go to this kind of school, you had to leave home and to live by your own. So since I was 15, 16 years old, I've lived by my own. Uh, I think that was a good thing. Yeah, I had to rent a room in the village, to call it that, where the school was, and yeah, to live there and go back in the weekends now and then, and to my parents or my home, or in the holidays. So so it all began, and but I never, be honest with you, had any ambitions of being a writer. I like to write, and I wrote, and it was no idea. I thought that was far beyond my reach in a way to become a real writer uh, or author. But then at 20, I wrote a novel. I sent it to a publisher, and they, to my great surprise, they wrote back to me and said that I wanted to publish it, but they wanted me to change this and change that and so on. And I should never have done it. It only made the novel worse, but I did it to have it published. This novel was called Red Black. And when I just passed I was just 23 years old when it was published, and I wrote it at 20. And at this time, something had happened. I don't know what exactly, but I had developed this a way of writing that is more or less the way I still write, I would say. And the main reason for developing this way of writing, it was that I started to think about writing as a kind of playing music. That I came into a musical state when playing, and I tried to recreate that in what I was writing. And all the repetitions and the variations and all this, that rhythm is that important in everything I write. It goes back to my young teenager playing the guitar and playing in a boys band and listening to music almost all the time. He stopped it. He quit with music and started writing. And after a while, he started to try to recreate in writing what he was creating in playing. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for this refined answer.